Hi guys, welcome back to another video. So I am doing my November wrap up. I read a total of 13 books and there's a mix of genres in here. Sort of. They're all romance, obviously, but there are a genre, a mixed genre of different romances. So we have romantasy, dark romance, contemporary romance. We got it all. We got some holiday romances. I'm getting in the holiday spirit in December, which I will be posting. Either it's up now or it's after this video. We'll see. But I'm currently editing my December TBR. So I have a lot of good reads I want to read in December. I'm really, really excited. But let's get into my wrap up. So the first book I read in November is A Tribute of Fire by Soraya Wilson. I rated this 3 stars. I'm gonna be honest, this took me a while to get into. Okay, so I don't know if I just wasn't in the fantasy mood at the time, but I just wasn't feeling the characters and the overall vibe and atmosphere of the book. But the concept and like the plot, everything sounds really good. It's got like trials, Greek mythology, a slow burn. Leah is the princess of Locris, a dying desert nation cursed centuries ago by an earth goddess, one still worshipped by the thriving and adversarial nation of Ilion. Every year, Ilion offers the goddess a sacrifice, 2 Locrian maidens forced to compete in a life and death race to reach her temple. In a millennium, no maiden has made it out of Ilion alive. Okay, so it's got like trials, it's Greek mythology, so Leah ends up in this trial. So it's about Leah trying to survive these trials. And she ends up meeting Jason. And it is a very slow burn. Like nothing really happens with them until like later on. Like really, which I don't mind. Like I love a good slow burn. But I honestly didn't feel the chemistry. And to me, there wasn't a whole lot of the romance aspect to it. For romantasy, which I think that the author might have, that's what she was going for. Like she was mostly focusing on the trials and the political aspect, the nations, all of that. I think she was focusing more on. So I guess it's more fantasy with a little bit of romance sprinkled in, which is completely fine. Like I do like some stuff like that, but for me personally, I couldn't really get into it. But I do think it is a good book. Like I feel like a lot of you will like it. Then I read the Vicious Lost Boys series. I started with The Never King, The Dark One, Their Vicious Darling, and then The Fae Princes. So The Never King I rated 4 stars. The Dark One I rated 4 stars. Their Vicious Darling I also rated 4 stars. And then The Fae Princess I rated 4.5 stars. And I'm gonna be completely honest, okay? I wasn't expecting to love this series as much as I did. I was actually in the middle of reading a different book when I saw someone else reading this and saying that they were loving it, that it was a reimagining of Peter Pan, and then I immediately went on my Kindle to get it. And I read it. Okay, so there's 4 books in the series, and they're quick. They're like, I think they're basically like novellas. Like they're really quick. And I read them in 4 days. So I read a book a day. Or I guess technically a book a night because I mainly read at night. But oh my goodness, the way I could not put these books down, honestly, I was a little nervous to read it because it's a reimagining of Peter Pan and I didn't know if I wanted Peter Pan to be ruined for me because it's spicy. It is a spicy book. It's Why Choose, by the way. So obviously it's going to be spicy. Why Chooses are like the spiciest books to read. Oh my goodness, I ate this series up. This was so good. There is another book, I think it's like a spin-off of this, but it's between Hook and one of the characters' brothers that's in this book. And oh my goodness, I want to read that so bad. I think it's called like The Devourer of Men or something like that. For 2 centuries, all of the darling women have disappeared on their 18th birthday. Sometimes they are gone for only a day, some a week or a month, but they always return broken. Now on the afternoon of my 18th birthday, my mother is running around the house, making sure all the windows are barred and the doors locked. But it's pointless, because when night falls, he comes for me, and this time, the Never King and the Lost Boys aren't willing to let me go. So this isn't like a reimagining of like modern day. Like it's about Peter Pan, but make it dark, make it spicy, and kind of change the storyline a little bit. Then I read Lunar Crest University by Cassidy Hudspeth. I rated this 3.5 stars. So I was really excited to read this book, and I did enjoy it, but towards the middle I got a little bored. So it took me a bit to kind of get throughout that part. But once I got near the ending, that's when I was like sucked in, which is why I rated it 3.5 stars instead of like 3 or 3.25. This is a professor student romance. It's a dark romance. The ending got to me. Okay, that part is where the 0.5 in my star rating really came in, because that ending, what? So this is about Luca Serrano, who owes money to very dangerous men, and in order to pay his debt to them, he gets a job at this college as an English lit professor, which is where he meets Finley Dunaway. And Luca has a dark past. He has a very dark past. There is a secret with him. So there's trauma, there's spice, there's like suspense, a little bit of mystery. And then I read Hexed by Emily McIntyre. This book is my recent 5-star read. I couldn't put this down. This was so good. Okay, so this is The Little Mermaid reimagining. Okay, so this is the 6th book, I believe, in the Never After series. This actually just came out in like the beginning or middle of November. And it's a dark mafia romance, and each book in the Never After series is like a dark reimagining of Disney villains. So like the first one, which is Hooked, is about Hook. The second one is called Scarred, which is about Scar from The Lion King. The third one is Wretched, which is like a Wizard of Oz reimagining about the Wicked Witch of the West. The fourth one is Twisted, which is an Aladdin reimagining, and that's about Jafar. And then the fifth one is Crossed, which is like a Notre Dame reimagining, and I've actually never seen that one. So I don't know who the villain is in that one. I am so sorry. But I've never seen Hunchback of Notre Dame. This one, Little Mermaid reimagining of Ursula, and I ate it up. I loved Vanessa. Oh my goodness, she is one of my favorite FMCs. She's just so misunderstood. And when she meets Enzo, the connection that they have, the fact that they immediately understand each other, and you can feel the chemistry on these pages. He's the prince of La Cosa Nostra. He's the witch who steals his heart. I loved everything about this book. And then I read actually the first Christmassy book, well, technically novella of the season, Chilled and Thrilled by Cleo White. I got the ARC for this. I was so excited when I got the ARC because I read one of her other books by her and I loved it. It was so cute. I can't remember what it's called though. Oh, I think it was called Second Edition. It was really cute. So I was excited when I got this ARC. I rated it 3.75 stars. This is a best friend's father romance. Yep. Usually I read ex-boyfriend's father romances. This is my first best friend's father. While I'm not clear on where one gets an official copy of the Girl Code, it seems like thou shalt not covet thy bestie's hot dad would be pretty high on that list. You know, I'm pretty sure it would too. And then I read another Christmas novella, My December Darling by Lauren Asher. I was so excited when she announced that she was doing this book. And then when it finally came out, immediately read it. I was so excited. She's one of my favorite auto-buy authors. I have either 3 or 4 5-star reads by her. And this actually takes place in Lake Wisteria, which is where her newest series, Lakefront Billionaires, takes place in Lake Wisteria. And the first 2 books in that series are both 5 stars. And My December Darling, I only rated like 4 stars, but still really loved it. It felt like I was reading a full-length book. I think it was like 200 pages, but it felt just like I was reading one of her 500-page books because she put so much thought and effort and so much detail into this book. So it is an ex-boyfriend's best friend, and Catalina, who is the FMC, is the maid of honor for her sister, and her sister happens to be marrying her ex-boyfriend. And then Luke is best friends with her ex, and so he's the best man. Did I explain that correctly? I hope so. I'm doing my best. Playing the part of my sister's maid of honor is easy even if she's marrying my ex. But playing nice with the best man, an impossible task given our history. Sure, Luke Darling may be suspiciously kind, incredibly handsome, and stubborn to a fault, but regardless of how hard he tries to make me see otherwise, I'm not interested. It's on me to remind him that he's my ex-boyfriend's best friend, and the one I'm secretly starting to wish I met first. This is also like Grey's Anatomy meets Christmas. There's a dedication that says it. Like, if you were fans, I can't remember. I would have to download it again and see it. Maybe I can do that. Okay, yeah, here's the dedication. To those who were torn between Doctors McSteamy and McDreamy, get ready to fall in love with Dr. Darling. That is one of my favorite dedications. I love that so much. And then I read Variation by Rebecca Yarros. I was so excited for this as well. She is one of my favorite authors. I have 3 5-star reads by her, which is Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, no surprise there, and then The Last Letter. That book tore me up. So I was a little nervous to read it, but I did it, and I loved it. So I had originally rated it 5 stars because I loved it. And then before I started recording, I changed my rating. So now it's 4.5. Well, actually, no, it's 4.75 because I loved it. I did. Am I going to be thinking about these characters as much as I think about Chaos and Ella in The Last Letter, and Xaden and Violet in Fourth Wing and Iron Flame? No, I'm probably not. But this was still such a good read. So it's a second chance romance between Allie and Hudson. Hudson is a Coast Guard, and Allie is a professional ballerina. So this is my first, ballerina romance, and I loved that. Although I feel bad for her because of the pressure that she was under throughout this entire book. Elite ballerina Allie is no stranger to pressure. With her mother's eyes always watching, perfection was expected, no matter the cost. But when an injury jeopardizes all she's sacrificed for, Allie returns to her summer home to heal and recover. But the memories she's tried to forget rush in and threaten to take her under. As a Coast Guard rescue swimmer, Hudson Ellis knows that hesitation can mean the difference between life and death. He's always prided himself on being in the right place at the right time, especially when it came to Allie, until the night he left for basic. After the biggest regret of his life, the secrets he keeps mean he can never be with the one woman he wants more than his next breath. Oh my goodness. And then I read books 8 and 8.5 of Zodiac Academy, Sorrow and Starlight, and then Beyond the Veil. So Sorrow and Starlight, 5 stars. Beyond the Veil, 4.5 stars. Maybe 4.75 because I loved it. I did. But not as much as Sorrow and Starlight. I cried throughout just about all of this book. Because if you've read the first 7 books of this series, you know why I cried throughout the entire book. It was so traumatizing, sad, emotional. Also had me laughing a lot though. This series has my heart. And I'm not ready for it to be over yet, so I'm taking a little break and I'm not going to finish the last book in the series. Because I'm just not ready to say goodbye to these characters. They have become everything to me. I love this series and these characters with my whole heart. And then the last book I read, the author sent it to me on my Kindle, and it's Hunted by Xavier Neal. I rated this 3 stars. This is a dark why choose romance. I enjoyed the book, but it wasn't the best thing I've read, the best dark romance I've ever read. So the main FMC bunny kind of annoyed me a little bit, and I also don't like her name. Okay, Bunny in the book, not a nickname. It's her real name. She even says it. I don't like it. And then one of the guy that she ends up seeing, what's his name? I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember their names. I know one is Kip. Nico? It starts with an N. I know that. Oh my goodness, I don't remember. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I don't remember. But one of them, he's very grumpy. And he calls her because they try and get on each other's nerves. But the nickname just kind of stuck even while they ended up dating. But he nicknamed her Rabbit. Yeah. I didn't like that. And then Kip, he's like the youngest out of them. I believe Buddy's in her 30s. And then the other guy, the grumpy guy, he's like 40. And then Kip, I think, is in his like mid to late 20s. He was kind of annoying, very whiny, but I liked the suspense. Okay, I was mainly in it for the suspense. Well, that concludes my wrap up. All the 13 books that I read in November, and I think it was a decent month. I wouldn't say it's like the greatest month, but it was decent. So, thumbs up for that. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have read any of these books or if you would like to read any of these books, and maybe even tell me your thoughts on them. I would love to hear you guys' opinions. I'll see you guys in my next video. Okay, so I'm currently in the middle of editing this video. The book that I said is the last book I read in November. Isn't. I forgot How My Neighbor Stole Christmas by Megan Quinn. This is actually the last book I read in November. Completely forgot all about it. But I really liked it. It was 4 stars. Cute holiday romance, holiday rom-com. It's like a Grinch reimagining, a Grinch romance, and I loved every second of it. This was a lot of fun. 4 stars. I love how, so each chapter there's a poem, like a cute little Christmassy poem. Love that. And then also there's like a narrator, okay? And in some of the chapters, the narrator's talking. And then Cole, the MMC in here, ends up having a conversation with the narrator, and it's just, I liked it. I thought it was funny. But there is also one scene in here that has something to do with a candy cane. A pineapple candy cane. And if you've read this book, you know. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. This was perfect for the holiday season. And that is all.